I think the whole Livewire community is still mind blown by the things that Caleb showed in
Right.
this in his last talk.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use some of those features that he showed big time in all of our code bases, because PHP, the
Right.
docs itself,
Right.
they are not that good.
Horrible.
They are not that good. They're
exactly.
they're like examples on there which you shouldn't do, which are unreadable.
Exactly.
I think if somebody's listening to this, it might be a very large but good hobby project
Yeah.
to just
Create.
do
Yeah.
the PHP docs from scratch again. So I got a mail.
Okay.
I think it was in January of that year,
Oh wow.
by just someone in India just asking me, from, can I go? Can you come to my conference? So I googled up the name,
Right.
and yeah, no internet presence. The conference was the first time that it was organized. No internet presence. So yeah, imagine that you get a mail just from somebody in the world. Come to my place and you don't find anything.
Right.
Then coming to there can be a little bit scary because you don't know, what is going to happen here.
Exactly.
But I asked the organizer, can I bring a couple of pals with me? And then I brought Marcel and Frederick
Right.
with me. And we were like, in the beginning, we were a little bit nervous. Like, is this really going to go through? Isn't this a scam or anything? But when we got there,
Right.
it was just amazing. It all was legit. It was an awesome conference, well organized, and we enjoyed it very much.
Right. So that's why you are in love with India and Indian conferences. Right.
Yeah, indeed.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking forward very much to come back, because this time it will be a little bit different than the previous times, right? It's much bigger now.
Yes.
The conference.
1,000.
I think the first time it was like 80 people or something, and now I see messages that there's like a room over 1,000 people.
So, Freek, I always ask this question to every guest in my podcast, is like, which is your native language? Tell me first that, and then teach me one one word from your language. Then I'm going to teach you one Hindi word, so that whenever you will be here, like for the Laracon India, you can use that word.
Okay, so I speak Dutch, so I'm going to teach you to say hello everybody in Dutch, right? Okay, in Dutch it's called hallo iedereen.
Hallo iedereen.
Iedereen. Yeah, it's close enough. I think people will understand it.
Hallo iedereen.
Iedereen. Yeah, that is
Wow.
hallo iedereen. Yeah.
Hallo iedereen.
Yeah, so if you give like a talk in Belgium or in Holland, then you can use that
Hello
to start your talk.
Yeah.
And everybody will love you.
Great. So this is amazing word, which is for starting something. Now, connected with this, I'm going to teach you super simple Hindi word. And it's not actually Hindi, but we generally use it. Indian people use it. And you may know this word from a super giant company in India, which is famous in all over the world. Do you know about the Tata Group? TATA.
Yeah, the Tata Group is pretty big, right?
Yeah. Now, so actually in India, when you say bye bye, so it's like we can say Tata.
Ah, yeah, okay.
So it's
Tata.
Tata. So Tata means goodbye, see ya, like that.
Yeah.
So you start with idhen, like hello idhen, and when you finish your talk, you will say Tata.
Tata. Okay, that's how I'm going to end my talk in Laracon, India. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's get to the serious things. So Freek, just quickly tell me how you started programming and why you got into programming, because I have heard that you have started programming very late in your career. So just
Mhm.
quickly tell me why that transition in your life, in your career. Is it true like you have started very late?
Well, that actually isn't true. I
Okay.
think you heard wrongly because I actually knew from very early age that I wanted to do something with computers.
Wow. Okay.
Um, I think maybe what you might have heard is that I started with HTML and PHP kind of late, but I started with programming earlier on.
Okay.
So yeah, I studied IT at high school.
Wow.
So I knew yeah, when I was little, my parents bought a computer, and I immediately know, like, yeah,
This is the
this
thing.
is what I want to do. This will become my passion.
Wow. Yeah.
I still have like a very early memory
Hmm.
that on the command line we did something like 3 plus 3, and the computer said 6, and my mind was blown. Like, wow, this is a wonderful machine
Yes.
to do stuff like that. And then came like little games and
Mhm.
little computers. My parents also bought a Mac, and on a Mac in earlier days you had this amazing program which isn't available anymore, and it's called HyperCard. I don't know if you
No.
ever heard
No.
about HyperCard.
Hypercard.
It's like an amazing program from the past that didn't make the cut to OS X. So it's very simple.
Mhm.
It's basically just like a stack of cards.
Mhm.
It's just a screen, and then you can draw little buttons and say to the computer what should be done when you push that button. And
Okay.
the simplest thing is go to the other card. Hence the name HyperCard. You can
Okay.
go to cards, and then you can make like a whole program
Mhm.
in that way.
Oh
And
wow.
that was like, yeah, I did a lot with that. So you could draw things on
Mhm.
cards
Mhm.
and put like labels on cards, and
Yeah.
also, yeah, have something typed in, and then evaluate that when you push the button. It's really a very simple programming language
Right.
that was in there, and I toyed with that a lot.
So, so
So
when you started, at what age you started with Laravel, not Laravel, like PHP, HTML?
I think I started. I think my first contact with PHP, but this was not in a professional
Mhm.
context. Yeah, now I'm going to show my age a little bit. Was, I think, in 2001 or
2001.
something like, yeah. So I think that was like PHP 3 or 4
Hmm.
or something like
Okay.
that.
Wow.
But that
2001.
that was just for toying around a little bit with it.
Okay.
But I didn't get like a job
Mhm.
with that or anything. So the first job that I held, and which I held for like 7 years,
Mhm.
was as a COBOL programmer with a big bank.
Okay.
So it's something very different from web
Web
programming.
programming.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. It was nice. So 2001 is really early, like when internet, or I can say web 2 has just begin.
Yeah, indeed,
Right.
indeed.
Good, good.
It was very early days from the internet. I think
Yes, yes.
the first version of Firefox was going to be released. I still remember
Aha.
playing with the betas of
Firefox.
Firefox, and which was like the first,
Mhm.
yeah, big, different browser that you could use compared to, yeah,
Right.
Explorer at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have started in 2001 and now you are like king in PHP or Laravel world with lots of amazing package. But I want to know like when and how you made your first dollar, or I can say the euro.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm going to show my age again here because when I made like my first money, the euro wasn't there
Okay.
yet. It was the Belgian franc.
Ah.
We only got euros like a year after or
Mhm.
something. Yeah, that was with like my job as a COBOL programmer. So
Mhm.
I still remember, like, this is the amazing feeling. I've programmed something
Mhm.
now for like a month,
Mhm.
and now I earn some money with it. and now I can do with that money whatever I want, which is like a very nice feeling the first time you earn something.
Yes.
And I still remember that, yeah, the first thing I did with that was like buying a sound card and some audio equipment to record some stuff with it. So I wasn't with like, I'm going to be intelligent with this and save some money on the bank. No, I just immediately bought stuff with it. And the next
Yes.
month I saved stuff.
Okay, good.
But it was a pretty good feeling.
So how much was your salary at that time? Like obviously converted to dollar, if you can say.
I don't know exactly anymore. Yeah.
I think you need to create another package just to convert from franc to euro.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry. It's a long time ago since I had to think about like these
obviously.
numbers and a conversion rate. So yeah.
Okay, that was just a joke. So how you landed into Laravel? Obviously, you started with the PHP in 2001,
Yeah.
and so how Laravel came into your life?
Well, Laravel came a little bit into my life in a period where, Spatie already existed, where we with Spatie were getting bored of PHP because there was nothing happening in the ecosystem at all, and we were transitioning to Ruby.
Okay.
And I actually made a couple of sites in Ruby because that's where like all the freshness and the positive vibes were coming from at that days. It was still a little bit difficult because I didn't know I didn't know Ruby well. I knew PHP well, but yeah, the ecosystem was getting a little bit stale. And I think the first contact that I had with Laravel was through a blog post by someone you probably also know. He's called Dries Vins.
Yeah.
He discovered Laravel and he had a blog where he shared what he was learning himself about that framework. And I started learning about that I learned about this blog very early on because his first post was also exploring routing, like how do I add a route, stuff
Which
like that.
version of Laravel was that?
I think 4 was in the work, so it was like one of the first versions of Laravel where you could install packages into. There was still some documentation around. I think it was called bundles or something before Laravel 4, but I never worked with those bundles. I always worked with like the packages.
That's why you are package king.
Yeah, that wasn't intentional. That was a little bit accidental, but
yeah, obviously. So as I told you, I will not going to talk about what was your first package and how much package you have, but I want to know, like, you have so many packages, and have you ever thought of making money through the packages only, or creating a premium package? Like I don't know if you already have some of the packages.
We actually have some.
Yeah.
The big majority of the packages they are free, of course. But there are a few paid ones as well. For instance, Mail Coach. It's now a complete platform, but it's also a self-hosted package.
Good.
We have Media Library Pro, which are upload components for Media Library. We made Laravel Comments, which is a set of Livewire components to render comments. So we have a couple there, and there are also a couple who are a little bit of in the gray zone, I would say, because they try to bring in users to our other products. I think like something like Ignition or Flare falls a little bit into that category as well, where people can use it freely and they provide tremendous value, but there's a little bit of an incentive to look at one of our other products as well.
Right.
So yeah, it's a little bit mixed, but I like to have like the vast majority free, because with those free packages we can build up our audience, and the bigger our audience is, the more people take a look at our paid products as well.
Exactly.
So those free packages, they aren't going away anytime soon.
So it's like creating the free package is just to spread the awareness about this party and the team or you and how you create the packages. And once you build the audience, then you can launch a paid product which will going to change the people's life, obviously in a positive way. And people will going to trust you once they know how you do, what you do, and at which scale you will be able to do things. So free products is just for that reason, isn't it?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
And then now you make it sound like this was like our plan from the get-go, but this was absolutely not our plan. It is like I call our audience internally always the accidental audience, because it wasn't really intentional to build that up. We made those packages in the first place, and we still create those packages in the first place to use in our own projects. So all of those packages, they are used internally in one of our stuff. And the fact that we build up an audience with that is just a very pleasant side effect, and a side effect where we build a part of our business on nowadays.
Right. So any new Laravel project or even the older one is incomplete without the package from a Sparty team from you. So it's like if you are preparing a food, it's incomplete without the salt. So you're creating salt for every Laravel project. Really amazing. But
Thank you.
Yeah, obviously. So creating free packages in our industry, we call it open source. So have you thought of like scaling this open source thing and promoting this open source? Because so many packages as free as open source, you can become a brand ambassador for open source. So have you ever thought of like promoting or educating people about the open source, or have you ever done these kind of things?
Well, yeah, I've a couple of years ago, I did a string of talks at conferences like why everybody should be in open source. I should give open source a little bit a chance, or work a little bit on open source, because I don't see any downsides of this at all. There are only like positive sides. You learn something.
Exactly.
You get feedback from this. As a human, it's good to know that you're not isolated, but you're operating in a community with other people that you can help and others that can help you. Right. It's also a good way to be thankful for all the things that you are given as a programmer. I mean, we work with open source every day. Our entire career is built upon it. PHP.
Laravel.
I haven't coded one single letter of PHP yet. I make money off it and build my entire career and happiness on it. So I think it's normal that you also try to give back a little bit with this as well.
Yes, that's.
And my talk at Laravel India is actually going to be a little bit about this.
Amazing!
I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can get like inspiration to create open source or packages, because I feel that a lot of people always struggle with how do I find ideas to program? And I tend to think that I'm pretty good with getting ideas. So I'm going to share a little bit where I get my ideas from, and maybe that helps others to start programming in open source.
That's really good. And educating people with open source is really important in today's life, because most of the people are going towards the paid thing. And if open source is not there, we will obviously not able to make our career over it, as you said. And the best part I like about the open source is like I have learned how to create packages by seeing your packages. Obviously not me. Most of the 90% people have learned how to create packages from your packages. Apart from that, how to write the classes, how to write tests, how to structure, how to name the variable. Every how to's of this programming comes by seeing the packages or maybe just the open source products we have on our GitHub. And that's why open source is so great, so amazing. And that it's not just solving problem, it's educating people, it's giving employment. A lot of things only possible because of the open source thing we have in our industry.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
I'm going to show my age yet again. I still remember the world where GitHub just didn't exist and where I just wasn't able, or I just didn't knew the right channels to view other people's code at the time, apart from my colleagues. And yeah, I think stuff like GitHub played like a tremendous role in boosting
Exactly.
open source just by making it easy to see
Yes.
other people's code.
Right. So you said this, I'm going to expose my ear a lot of times. So I just really want to know what's your age.
Am I going to say this? Am I going
You
to
can say
this?
you are 16.
No. I sometimes I feel a little bit like that. No, I'm 42. It's
Wow.
not that old, but I think I don't feel that old. I make that joke a little bit because it seems like I interact a lot of times with people that are younger than me, and yeah, I sometimes get nicknamed like uncle in groups where I operate. You know.
No.
And I still also remember being like the youngest in a group of workers, but that time also as long gone. But yeah, everybody becomes a little bit older.
The uncle word remind me one incident from my YouTube thing. My family called me Ankur, so Ankur.
Ankur.
Yeah, Ankur. Now, in earlier days when I started the YouTube, I was saying like, hello, welcome to Bitfumes. My name is Sarthak, and you can also call me Ankur. Now, this was released, many videos were released, and people were complaining, hey, uncle, good to know that you are also called uncle. I'm not uncle, I'm Ankur. I said, okay, now from now onwards, I'm not going to call anything. I'm Sarthak. That's it. No Ankur or uncle.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's a good idea. Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple, bro. So, it's funny. Okay, so as you said, you have now some premium packages. You also have amazing products. So, what was your first ever SaaS product, and how that idea came into your mind?
That's a very good question. So the very first one where I worked on, it actually wasn't inside of Spatie because I didn't see it as like a very big thing. But it grew a little bit big, I would say. Is a product called OhDear, which is an uptime monitor.
I remember, I think in 2018 when we were on the same conference as a speaker, you showed me some upgrade version of OhDear.
Yeah, it could be.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
I think I started indeed in
2018. You showed me.
Yeah. We just celebrated our 5-year launch. Ooh. So yeah, you have seen a very early version of OhDear then. Yeah, indeed.
So it's an uptime monitor.
Yeah, it's an uptime monitor, but it's basically now I think 5 or 6 products in one, because with the most of our competitors who do monitoring, they just monitor your homepage, and when your homepage is down, they will send you a notification. Yeah, and OhDear can do that too, but where OhDear really shines is all the rest that it does. So it doesn't only monitor the homepage, but it will actually crawl your entire site.
Oh.
And it will let you know when one of the pages of your site is down, or when a link isn't complete.
Wow.
It can also monitor scheduled jobs. So if you have scheduled jobs and one of them didn't run on time, then it can send you a notification like, hey, your invoicing job didn't run on time. There's also monitoring for application health. So one of the things that it can do is most Laravel people are familiar with Horizon, right?
Obviously.
To see if the queue jobs. Manage queues, So OhDear can monitor that too. So if there's something wrong with Horizon and all your jobs stop, OhDear can tell you as well, like, hey, Horizon is down. You should probably do something about that. Or if your hard disk is like 90% full, like the hard disk of my laptop right now. But if that happens on your server, then it can also send you a notification. So it's become quite big because I love working on it, and I've worked on it for the past 5 years. Always in the evening. It's a passion project.
Right.
Yeah.
Really good, and congratulations for this amazing product. I have seen it. I really like the logo you have. It's kind of hat, I think.
Yeah, that's the old logo. We did a redesign, I think, 3 months ago or something. But the old one was indeed with the hat and with the little monocle, that glass with one eye. But it's a little bit more polished now.
I just saw the new logo. Is it designed by Kaneko?
No. This one. There are a lot of logos designed by Kaneko, but this one isn't.
Because I recorded one podcast with Kaneko, and he was like, I created all the majority of projects logo, and he taught me like how to think like a designer, but I didn't get that. I'm developer happy.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, what Kaneko did and what he did very good was create a couple of logos for some of our open source repositories. So he created logo for our backup package, the once package, I think the permission package as well, and a couple of more, which is really nice of him, I think.
So talking about the OhDear once again, so what is the current pricing or subscription plan for OhDear?
I think the lowest price right now is, I think, $15 per month. And you get like a couple of months for free if you do a yearly subscription, like most SaaSes.
But when you have launched it, what was the pricing at that time, and how you decide the pricing for your product? Because pricing a product is really tough. I'm also working on my side product, and we always fight, like me and my partner always fight about what should we have for the pricing. How do we launch it? So what was your thought on this?
That's a good question. So OhDear, the whole launch process and the whole process of thinking about it as a business was really unprofessional, I think, how we did that. Because it was really a hobby project. And we didn't have like a formal business plan because we had no costs, because me, my buddy Matthias, who was also programming OhDear, we just did it in the evening. And we already had computers. We didn't have to pay for our time to anybody because we were just doing it ourselves in the evening. So we were luxurious in that way that we didn't have like or a need for a business plan. And the only thing that we did was like tweet about it and start a mailing list on it. So we built, again, a little bit of an accidental audience with that, and me working in open source certainly helped with that. And on a certain evening, I think early January 2018, I think. I don't know if Matthias said it or I said it, like, hey, isn't it stable enough? We should just launch it. We didn't have like a launch plan. We just decided, hey, let's just launch it because it just feels good. It just works for us. We were using it for our own stuff. And then there was one problem. We didn't decide on pricing just yet. So I think I said a number and Matthias agreed. And that was it. So it was very easy. I think in the beginning it was, I think $5,
Wow.
or we only charged euros at
Yeah,
the time, so it was
€5.
€5.
Okay.
And for I think 2 sites, to monitor 2 sites, and that seemed like good to us. So it was really just on a hunch
Yes.
decided. And when I look back to it, I think, yeah, what we did, just decide like half an hour before you're going to launch it. That's maybe not good.
Yeah.
But what I do find good about this is that don't think about pricing too much while you're building it. I think after you've built it or you made something that you want to launch, then you can look back and think about what is this worth.
Wow.
You know,
This is good.
if you think about pricing beforehand and you don't know exactly yet what you're going to build, you don't have a feel for it.
Right.
And I feel now that if you decide on pricing beforehand, build the stuff, you still have to think about pricing again to see, to check, is the price still right for this? So don't bother with thinking about it beforehand. Just think about it when you've built it.
Right.
Now, I think you should have, if you do it professionally, a little bit of a business plan beforehand, that you have like
Good.
a ballpark figure
Right.
about how you're going to charge this.
Yeah.
So
Because you
don't do exactly as I do.
because people don't know, like when you are creating anything, you don't know how much value this product is going to provide for some people, and pricing should be based on the value, not on the feature or not on the like product what you have created. It should like if it is solving big problem, you can charge more. If it is solving the problem which is not that big but still you want some money, you can charge less, and later on you decide that okay, this is doing good, I can raise and try that for that. I'm also trying and following this, but your insight is really good, that don't think on the pricing first, but and if you really want to think about pricing, have a proper business plan.
Yeah, I think you should take everything I say a little bit with a little bit grain of salt. But if I may take another example, like for instance, like the Laravel comments package. Before we did that, I knew, like, I know how to build this, and I had some help with a couple of colleagues for the front end stuff, and they also knew, like, this is how we're going to build it. And then we thought beforehand, like, ballpark, how much can we charge for this, and how many people do we think to reach for this? But this was just like a 10-minute discussion or something. Then we built it, and then we had like the big discussion, like how much is this worth, the thing that we've built, and then we have something concrete to look at.
Right. So Freek, once again, you have amazing product lineup from the Flare, the Meal Coach, and OhDear, and a lot more. I didn't remember exactly what are these, but so you have so many products and packages. Obviously, you are indulged in the giving talks, you like music, you create courses, you create amazing things over the internet, you talk to people, you are active on Twitter. How do you manage your time? How do you do all these things together? I really want to know, what is your productivity mantra?
Well, I'm always a little bit amazed of people that say that, as I consider myself a little bit lazy, I would say.
If this is lazy, I want to become lazy.
Because I don't feel that. I can see when I look back that indeed I have a lot of things I can be proud of. But you should also know that there's like a world-class team backing me with these stuff. I don't create these products all by myself. I don't create these courses or packages all by myself. My colleagues at Spasi also help me with this. And without them, I wouldn't get this much done, I would say. And the other thing is that, I do a little bit every day, I guess, I think my trick is not to try to always try to be like mind-blowingly good or a product that will blow everybody's mind. I've worked on, like, for instance, OhDear, which is an uptime tracker. That's not really a mind-blowing idea or something.
Wow.
I just executed it very well with passion and with eye for detail. I just made that pretty good. And I think on moments where I'm like on a high, where I can be very productive, I can do like a lot in a day. Then I get in the zone and it just flows out of me. But I also know that these kind of periods, they are not constant. With every period where I get like very productive, there's a period of being less productive.
Exactly.
And the trick, I guess, is to recognize that a little bit. And on those days, not stopping, but also doing a little bit, but not too much, and knowing that like energy will flow back. Yeah. And I think that just that recognizing that flow helps me to just constantly do a little bit. Also on my low energy moments, I can still do maybe boring stuff, but I'm still doing some stuff. And then it's basically just repeating that for a couple of years. And after a while, I can see that. I can also see like, hey, it's pretty cool what I've built with that.
It's like being consistent for whatever you are doing, and do things little by little, and don't think about perfection or don't think about something crazy. Just do what you love and do it consistently, right?
Okay. Exactly. And also do it for like the right reasons. I've mentioned it already. I think that I've built up like an accidental audience.
Yes.
I don't think I would have succeeded in getting an audience if getting the audience was like my goal from the start. Maybe my audience would be bigger and I would be better in that, but I don't believe that, because that doesn't really interest me that much. To have like a big audience, it's nice that it's there now, but it's not like my prime motivation to do stuff.
So talking about the audience, how many subscriber you have on your newsletters?
I think it's about 10,000 now or something that are subscribed to the newsletter.
10,000
that are subscribed.
Super.
Something like that. Yeah.
Really, really great. So back to the time management. Do you follow the Pomodoro technique?
Not really. I know of the Pomodoro technique, but not really. It just isn't for me. I think. But remind me, that's where you set a timer for yourself for like 15 or 20 minutes. It's a short period,
exactly,
and then it stops, right? Yeah, I can imagine that works for certain people, but I feel like I have like enough. How do you say that? I've enough character to just be in the zone and also remember like now I should do something else. So
when I heard
do you do that?
Yeah, when I heard about this Pomodoro technique, I was like, yeah, this is really good. But 15 minutes or 20 minutes is very less time. I just need 10 minutes just to go into the project or start like making my like body and mind stable. So I tried to make it from 20 or 30 minutes to 1 hour. So I started a timer of 1 hour, then start doing things, and if I need, I restart. So it's not like hard code that I have to cancel, I have to stop. I can just extend it, but that just remind me that, hey, if this is enough, if you have done enough thing in 1 hour, you can switch to something else, or you can just take a break, because taking break is really important for your health, because we are sitting for long hours. It's not a proper blood flow in our body. So that's a good thing. But as you said, it's like I have tried it, but never been consistent on Pomodoro technique. But I can say that it's really good and effective.
Yeah, I think if it works for you, you should just do it. Whatever works.
Whatever works is good for. It's like if the code is working, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Okay, so Freak, you know, there is a word or there is a saying in IT world or programming world, like PHP is dying. Everyone is saying like PHP is dying, but we know who are working in PHP and Laravel, we know that it's not even dying. It's like going up all the time with every release. It's really mind blowing. Every version of PHP is having something which we are excited about. So what do you feel, what is the future of PHP, like next 5 year? What you think we will be able to do with PHP, and which feature you think that PHP should have it very soon?
Oh, those are all great questions. Yeah, where PHP will be in 5 years. I'm an optimistic person, so I would say like in a better place than in an even better place than it is now. I think PHP is pretty good nowadays, compared with how it used to be in the earlier days. It's speedy, it has modern features. So I think for building like a very good app where you just enjoy working in it, yeah, PHP is already there, I think. And of course, I have a list of things where that I wish would be in the language.
Yeah,
I think this list is shared with a lot of people, like the pipe operator. I wish we had that. I wish like we had like an even like a better type system in PHP where we could have things like generics and typing arrays. But you see that like the community as a whole is also finding that more important. What I think as one of the most important things that have happened to PHP, and I think Laravel is certainly one of the big proponents of that, is that like having like a good developer experience is like really key to get this going. And it seems obvious very much now to us in the Laravel ecosystem. Yeah, of course we need to have DX, but this is the last time I'm going to say I still remember the days, but I still remember the days where DX just wasn't a focus at all.
Yeah.
Where you had to be like a scientist, and it needed to be. It felt like it needed to be difficult. And I hope that in the next 5 years, that need or that people realize in outside of our ecosystems, that they also realize like DX is really key to make like better systems. You know,
right?
Because with better DX comes better maintainability, comes better code, comes better features. It all depends a little bit on that.
Yes. So if people who are listening doesn't know about DX means the developer experience, like the developer who are using the PHP will be happy by writing the code. And yes, with the recent version, we have seen that I really happy with the arrow function came to PHP and some null coalescence things and many more, like the new constructor, how you create the constructor is really mind blowing. So a lot of things which are making developer happy, and if developer will be happy, then you will see some amazing results from the developers, from the creators. That's really true. And I also want to have some of the features from the JavaScript in PHP, and which one is arrow function we already have here, and some of the other things which like template literal kind of things. Do we have something like that in PHP? I didn't remember.
Well, we
can do that with double quotes.
We have double quotes for that. And actually, what they do in JavaScript, so with the backticks to have a literal, we have that in PHP as well, but it's really dangerous. So if you do something in the backticks in PHP, then it gets evaluated. But not eval, but it gets executed as a command. So you invoke a bash command with that. So don't do that, because it isn't safe to do that. But if I may add one more thing that I wish that PHP would have, and this is not a language feature, but I hope that like in the next 5 years we'll have like better documentation for
Ah,
PHP language itself, because PHP the
right,
docs itself,
right.
they are not that good.
Horrible, horrible.
They are not that good.
Exactly.
They're like examples on there which you shouldn't do, which are
Super.
unreadable. I
Exactly.
think if somebody's listening to this, it might be a very large but good hobby project
Yeah.
to just
Create.
do
Yeah.
the PHP docs from scratch again,
Exactly.
beautifully laid out with
Uh-huh.
a section for newcomers, with
Right.
good examples, with modern things.
Exactly.
That
Exactly.
would be like amazing to have.
Yeah, and I think the one reason of Laravel being so famous and so great is the documentation, which Taylor
Yeah.
always focus more on documentation when he is releasing anything, and that's so true that like I really love the documentation of Laravel. Like if you want to do something, just go type search. It's all there. You have external links. You have examples, and over the top we have Laracast. We have communities, people like you and others. So I think the community which is having the core PHP community should focus more on the documentation, or maybe not just the documentation, but some resources which make the learning curve or entry curve for PHP more smooth and more easy. That
Yeah.
will actually,
Exactly.
yeah, help people for adapting PHP more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll talk again in 5 years and we'll see
sure.
if that has happened.
Yes, yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we will talk about this question every year. We will when we do the podcast or whenever we meet. Okay, so time to finish up with some quick questions, Freak. It's
Yeah,
really
sure.
great. So, what do you think is the future technology? And I can say like which future technology you are super excited about and why?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the one that is closest to coming is the third version of Livewire. I'm very
Yeah,
much
I'm also
excited by
super
that.
excited.
I think the whole Livewire community is still
Mm,
mind blown by the
mm,
things that Caleb showed
right.
in his last talk,
Yeah.
and I'm going to use some of those features that he showed big time
Mhm.
in all of our code bases. And another thing that I'm really looking forward to, and it's very close. It will be released, I guess, end of January, starting February. Is the second version of Pest.
Oh,
There are some
yes.
very nice features in there as well,
Uh-huh.
and I think Nuno is going to spoil you all with demoing all those new features at
Mhm.
Laravel India.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. So you revealed Nuno's talk title, and you have revealed yours also. But I will try to publish this podcast once your talk is announced.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that will be really great. So next is a quick question, which is going to help people. Like, do you read books? Any
Yeah, I read books.
which kind of books you read?
I always try to swap between like fiction and non-fiction. So for every fiction book I read, I try to read like a non-fiction book as well to have like a little bit of a variety.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to read one book a month.
Oh,
So I
wow.
have like this schedule or like this wish of
Mm-hmm.
every year of having read 12
12
books,
books.
and I'm doing that now. I think for the fourth year. So the last 3 years,
Oh,
I've
amazing.
I've read 12 books. Yeah,
Right. Amazing. I really love book. You can
yeah,
see from here.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
my taste is more on motivation and business things, because whenever whatever like need me, I just search
Hmm.
for that kind of book. So initially when I was looking or going into the programming, I need the motivation, so I was reading motivation books, but now I need to do the businesses and I need to create the product, sell it out, so I'm reading the that kind of books. But
Yeah,
from you,
smart.
yeah, I want to know any three books you will going to recommend to the developers who are listening to this talk.
Let's see. I think like I think it's called the Clean Code. I think
Wow.
by Uncle Bob.
Uncle,
That's like
super.
that's yeah a classic book. It's really good.
I feel like it's a holy book of programmer.
Yeah, because there are so many things in there that seems normal if you have a little bit of experience. But I really wished I read it like 10 years earlier because there are so good tips in there.
Yeah.
What's another big book? I'm not going to say like you should. I'm not going to recommend a book that I read, but you should read a book like that. I think in the past year I read a book about world politics, the history of the last 50 years.
Oh.
So like history of what happened in the world in all the countries, not only viewed from the Western perspective, from other perspective as well, because at school, I don't know how it is in India, but we had history lessons.
Yes.
But those history lessons, they stopped in the 80s because, I was taught like in the end of the 80s, so there was no history. And I wanted to have like a catch up, so I read like a very good book that was written by a Belgian professor that really explained like these are the big things that are happening in the world, and this is why they are happening. And some of these things you just don't know because they're just like big things and you only follow the news in small bits. And I would recommend to also find a good book about that, like what is happening in the world. So you have like a better perspective on why and how things are happening in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's also
third
a very
one.
good one. So the third one, so I've done like a programming one, one non-fictional one. So I'm going to do a fictional one. I think a series that I really enjoyed reading was a sci-fi string of books called The Expanse, which is about like about in the near future that people are living in space a little bit. Mars is inhabited. There are people on colonies. You still have Earth, and you have like these political things around these three things, and you have like everything is told from the perspective of like Captain James Holden and his crew who have various adventures in that world. I think in total it are 9 books, but they are really good.
So you have read all 9 books?
Yeah, I've read them all after each other. It was really good. There's also an excellent TV series made out of it who made the books really proud. I think it's really if you watch a TV series,
sure.
the adaptation is pretty good.
Okay, I will find it. Yeah, sure. I'm having great interest in the space and the future technology. So this series I'm going to look at it, but I will not able to read 9 book series. I'm not Freek.
Just read a little bit every day and you'll get there.
I'm doing that same thing with my books. So, but 9 series is really
it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Even if you complete 1 book a month, that will take 9 months. Anyways, so Freek, we are at the end of this podcast, and I'm really happy that you came here and we got lots of insights. But if I have to take one thing from this podcast, I will take it, as you said, do things little by little every day, and don't try to create amazing product at like single day. You can create things awesome just by being consistent and doing what you love in a positive way. So
indeed.
So really,
and then
really
with a little bit of luck, you'll at some point you'll do something amazing without you even knowing it.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So that's really good. So this is my take from this podcast, and hope you have learned or you have enjoyed this. So Freek, we are going to meet very soon at Laravel India in India. and we will have a blast there.
I'm sure we will. I'm looking forward to it very, very much.
Yeah, so tell the audience like where they can reach if they have any question to you.
I think probably the easiest way would be on Twitter. Just Freek Murze. I'm there on Twitter. And if Twitter blows up for any reason or something, it could happen any day.
Any day.
You can reach me on my blog as well, freek.dev. Subscribe to the newsletter, and I'll send you a mail every month with the stuff I'm working on.